Welcome back to the Scales of Fandolver. We're your hosts, Volo and Storm, and we hope you brought a handkerchief because today is about redemption.
And sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Today we journey not into a dungeon, but into the soul itself. Let us begin.
It is so good to be back. And for everyone listening, I really do suggest you find a comfortable chair, maybe grab a calming cup of tea or something.
Chamomile, perhaps.
Chamomile would be perfect because you are going to need it. We are diving headfirst into session 20. And honestly, I'm still processing the notes from this one.
That's a heavy one.
It is, because if you just wrote the mission objective on a piece of paper, it sounds simple, almost trivial.
Right.
The mission is rescue a cat. That's it. Rescue Russell, the little asthmatic orange tabby from the Stonehill Inn.
It does sound like a side quest, doesn't it? Like something you'd get in the very first town of a video game to teach you the basic controls. Oh no, my cat is stuck in a tree.
Exactly, a tutorial level. But context changes everything, because this was not about climbing a tree.
Not even close. This is about, piercing the very veil between planes of existence. It's about dealing with the psychological trauma of a magical prison.
And the price. We have to talk about the price that was paid, because it was a price that, frankly, gave me chills just reading about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
So the stakes here, they weren't just high, they were astronomical. We're talking planar travel, we're talking about bargaining with hags.
Ugh, hags.
And a choice. A choice that Gila PG, as we call him, had to make. And I think this one choice defines his character more than any spell, more than any wild shape he's ever used.
Absolutely. And to really get the full weight of this, we have to understand that this wasn't some random monster attack. This was a trap of their own making.
Well, specifically of PG's making. Which, brings us to a really fascinating point about unintended consequences in these games.
It really does. We have to rewind the clock a little bit. For listeners who might need a refresher, let's go back to session 12.
Right. The encounter with Varys Tamroth.
Varys, the professional monster hunter. He sees PG do that incredible maneuver. You remember, he turns into a vulture, flies up, and drops a huge rock on that Remmer has.
Still one of the all-time great combat moves of the campaign. Just brilliant.
It was. And Varys is so impressed, he gives PG a reward. He gives him the Ring of Varys. And at the time, it just felt like, a standard loot drop, a cool magic item.
But the function of that item is where this whole tragedy starts. Varys was very clear about what it was for.
He was. It's a prison for monsters, a tool for his trade. You find a beast, you touch the ring to it, and it gets sucked inside into stasis.
It's like a magical cryogenic freezer for dangerous creatures. It's meant for manticores, owlbears, things that you want to transport without them, eating you.
It's a Pokeball, but a much colder, more industrial version. There's no friendship involved here.
None at all.
Bloody
PG, bless his big turtle heart. He didn't use it on a monster. Back then, the party was getting ready to leave Phandalin, and Turin, our gnome barbarian, he really wanted Russell the cat to come with them.
Right, but the cat was hesitant. He wasn't sure about the whole adventuring life.
So PG, in what he probably thought was a moment of genius, or maybe just, trying to protect the cat from the dangers of the road, he used the ring on Russell.
It's such a tragic irony. He tried to save him by imprisoning him. He took this piece of arcane containment technology and used it like a pet carrier.
And he had no idea what it was actually doing to the poor thing. Which brings us to the start of session 20. The party's back in Phandalin, and PG finally sits down with Redith the druid.
Finally. Someone who actually understands this kind of deep, natural magic. And Redith's diagnosis, it's horrifying.
This is where we get into the real magical theory of it all. And it's so much more complicated than just creature goes in, creature comes out.
Way more complicated.
Redith describes the ring as having layers. 3 distinct layers. There's the physical layer, which is the silver ring itself, the anchor in our world.
Okay, that makes sense.
But then beneath that, there's the cognitive layer. He calls it a dark pond of thoughts, or a sea of beads.
That imagery, a sea of beads, it's so unsettling. Like each bead is a captured mind.
That's exactly the implication. The ring doesn't just store the body, it seems to dismantle the consciousness for storage. It separates the self from the physical form.
Oh, that's awful.
And then beneath that, there's the spiritual layer, the soul. And Redith, he listens closely to the ring, and he confirms 2 things. First, Russell is definitely in there. He can hear a faint wheeze and a purr.
The wheeze! We can't forget Russell's asthmatic. That one little detail just makes it all feel so much more real and so much more urgent. It's not some mythical beast, it's a sick little cat.
It grounds the stakes completely. But the second thing he confirms is that Russell is fading. His consciousness is just adrift in that cognitive sea, dissociated from his body. And here's the kicker.
What's that?
PG can't just open the ring. He doesn't have the command word. He doesn't know the release mechanism. He essentially forced his way in, but he doesn't have the administrative privileges to get out.
It's like locking your keys in the car, but the car is a pocket dimension, and the keys are your cat's soul.
A perfect analogy.
Oh.
Which leads them to the only key they have. And this connects directly back to the deal made in session 19.
The marble.
The Hag's Marble. From the cobwebbed curio. Which, let's be honest, is a very polite name for a hag's lair that she built inside an old dragon barrow.
Right. PG needed a way in, a way to pierce that cognitive layer, and the hag provided. She gave him this marble. But it's not just a key, is it?
No, it's a bridge. It allows a consciousness to project itself into that cognitive sea. But the price. You mentioned the price earlier, and
Yeah.
we really need to dig into that.
Oh, we do, because nothing, and I mean nothing, from a hag comes without a terrible price.
The price was a future favor.
Ugh. My stomach just drops every time I hear those words in a campaign. A future favor. It sounds so harmless. Oh, I'll owe you one.
But it's not. In the world of fey bargains and hag deals, a future favor is the single most dangerous currency there is. You can earn back gold. You can find another magic item. You can even regrow a limb with the right magic.
But a favor.
A favor is a blank check on your destiny. That hag can call it in any time for anything, and PG is magically bound to do it. He traded his future for a chance to save this cat.
And the hag doesn't let him forget it. There's that moment in session 20. They're still at the inn, just before they leave for the ritual. PG touches the ring.
And he hears her voice. Not a memory. An intrusion.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Your furry friend is getting so very tired of waiting. It's pure psychological warfare. She's twisting the knife. She's reminding him that the clock is ticking for Russell, yes, but it's also ticking on their deal. She's showing him that she has a hook in his mind now.
It's absolutely chilling. So, okay, the stage is set. They have the problem, they have the very dangerous solution, and they have the motivation. They decide, rightly, that they cannot perform this ritual in the middle of a crowded inn.
A very smart move. They choose Wyvern Tor. It's isolated, it's remote. If this ritual goes wrong and, magical energies explode or ethereal monsters pour out.
Which, spoiler alert.
Exactly. You don't want to be doing that next to the barmaid in the local town drunk. It shows level of responsibility that maybe they didn't have in earlier sessions. They're thinking about collateral damage.
They are, but the journey to Wyvern Tor, this is where we get a really welcome shift in tone. And thank goodness, because the rest of the session is just so incredibly tense, we have to talk about the toll bridge.
Ah, yes.
Jerry
the ogre.
Yeah.
I love this encounter so much. So the party is walking, they come to a bridge, and out steps this ogre.
But he's a kid.
A juvenile, yeah. He's maybe 8 feet tall, which is obviously huge to a human or a gnome. But for an ogre, he's clearly young. He's a little clumsy, a little awkward.
And he is trying so hard to be scary. He's puffing out his chest, trying to sound gruff, and he demands a toll.
1 gold piece.
Which is an insane price for a bridge toll. I mean, that's usually like, what, a couple of copper pieces?
It's pure extortion. But this is what I love about this scene. It's a perfect example of how much this party has grown.
Yeah.
If this were session 3, what would they have done?
Oh, easy. Roll initiative. Turin would have raged. Ohio Jim would be looking for backstab. The murder hobo phase, as we call it.
Exactly. See monster, kill monster, take stuff. It's the default setting. But here, they talk to him, they negotiate, and then his dad shows up.
This is the best part. The huge adult ogre steps out from under the bridge, and he's not there to fight. He's there to correct his son's business practices.
Yeah, he's mortified. Jerry, no, the toll's 2 copper. We've been over this. It's like a take your son to work day for bridge trolls.
Right.
So beautifully mundane.
It just makes the world feel so much more alive. These aren't just entries in a monster manual. They're people, with families and jobs. But then look at what the party does. They don't just pay the 2 copper.
They pay 7 gold.
7. That is a life-changing amount of money for a family of ogres guarding a backwoods bridge. It's an incredible act of generosity.
It is. And the father, he lets Jerry keep it. See? Sometimes the customers are generous. It's a teaching moment. But for us, the audience, it's a character moment. They're acting like heroes now. They're interacting with the world with empathy.
It really is a massive shift. But the ogre father, he does more than just provide a funny scene, doesn't he? He also serves a much darker narrative purpose.
He does. He's what you'd call a herald. in storytelling. He drops a piece of information that just completely changes the mood. He mentions a white dragon.
He says a white dragon has been flying around, scaring all the local creatures, and this plugs directly back into what we've been hearing about for ages. Agatha the Banshee's prophecy from way back in Session 12.
The Beast of Winter.
Right.
It's not a distant prophecy anymore. It's a clear and present danger. It's actively disrupting the ecosystem. When ogres are getting scared, you know something big is wrong.
It's such a perfect piece of foreshadowing. It basically says, enjoy this cute moment because the real monster is on its way.
And that feeling just hangs over the rest of the session. So they pay their generous toll, they cross the bridge, and they finally arrive at Wyvern Tor. It's time.
The ritual, and this is where we have to really get into the nitty-gritty of the mechanics, because the rules for this were just, they were so clever and so terrifying.
It's a brilliant piece of encounter design. So let's break down the rules of engagement. PG uses the Hag's Marble, he projects his mind into the ring, and to do that, he has to enter a deep trance.
So out here in the physical world, he is completely helpless, a sitting duck.
Worse than that, he's comatose, he's blind to what's happening, he's deaf to their warnings. He's basically a statue that the party has to protect.
And then there's the link. Oh man, this is the part that had me chewing my nails just reading the summary.
The link is the cruelest twist. Radith figured this out. The connection between PG's mind and Russell's essence is, well, it's a fragile spiritual cord. If PG's physical body takes any damage while he's in that trance.
The shock travels down the line?
Exactly. The damage is halved, but it's transferred directly to Russell.
Okay, let's do the math on that for a second. Russell is a house cat. A normal cat in D&D has, what, maybe 2 hit points? 4 if he's really tough.
Right around there. Which means a single punch, 1 arrow, a magic missile.
Yeah.
Any of it. Half of that damage would be more than enough to instantly kill a cat.
So it's a zero-fail state. The party isn't just protecting their friend, they're protecting him. Because if he gets so much as a scratch, the cat they're trying to save is dead.
The tension is just unbearable. And you see PG preparing for this. He does a couple of really key things. First, he takes off his Dragon Slayer longsword.
His signature weapon.
His best weapon. And he hands it to Lyra, the paladin.
That's a huge moment of trust. He's basically saying, you are my sword now. I am helpless. You defend me.
It's that, but it's also tactical. Lyra is a paladin. She's built for smiting evil and doing massive single-target damage. Giving her the magic sword just makes sense. It shows PG is still thinking like a strategist, even when he's panicking.
And he also makes a basket. A little reed basket for the cat.
I love that detail. It's so hopeful. Amidst all this terrifying magical preparation, he takes a moment to do this humble, quiet little thing. He's not preparing for failure. He's making a bed for his friend to come home to.
It's beautiful. So he sits, takes a deep breath, he touches the marble to the ring, and the world goes black for him. He's in.
And that's when the real threat appears. As soon as the rift is open, they come through. The Whisper Weavers.
Oh, just the name alone is enough to give me goosebumps. What are these things exactly?
Think of them as spiritual parasites, ethereal spiders that feed on memories and guard the pathways of the mind. The Hag mentioned them, and she wasn't exaggerating.
And their main thing is that they can shift between planes, right?
That's what makes them so dangerous. They can flicker between the ethereal plane, where they're invisible and untouchable, and our material plane to attack. It's a nightmare to fight.
And their bite. It's not just damage, it's poison.
Paralytic poison, which is one of the most debilitating conditions in the game. It takes you right out of the fight.
So this battle, it was just chaos. We have to look at it from 2 different perspectives. There's the desperate fight in the physical world, and then there's what PG is going through in the void. Let's start with the physical fight.
It actually started pretty well. Lyra, the paladin, she had a real moment to shine, wielding that Dragon Slayer sword.
The notes here are amazing. It says she splits one of the weavers completely in half with one clean swing.
A massive critical hit, a huge morale boost. It shows why PG trusted her with the sword, but that momentum, it didn't last. The spiders are smart and they have numbers.
And this is where we see the action economy death spiral. Once they start landing those paralysis bites, things go south fast.
Very fast. Imogen, the sorcerer, is first. She's hanging back, firing off magic missile spells, doing reliable damage. Then a weaver blinks in behind her, bites, and she's down, paralyzed.
So there goes your main source of ranged magic damage.
Gone. Then they go for Valindra, the cleric, the healer. She's trying to fight back. She has this hilarious spectral fly swatter for a spiritual weapon.
Which is very on brand for her.
It is, but she gets swarmed. The poison takes hold and she crumbles.
So now your artillery is down and your healer is down. And then Lyra, even the paladin tank goes down, paralyzed.
It's the absolute nightmare scenario. 3 of the 5 defenders are completely out of the fight.
Yeah.
And who's left standing between the remaining spiders and the completely defenseless PG?
The Short Kings, Turin the Rock Gnome Barbarian, and Ohio, Jim the Dwarf Rogue.
The 2 non-magical fighters. It's just them, their weapons, and pure grit. They have to form a wall. They cannot let a single one of those things get through to PG.
It is a desperate, desperate last stand. And while all of this is happening, this physical chaos, we have to cut back to PG. He's in the cognitive realm.
Yeah.
And this is where the story shifts from, an action scene to a deep psychological drama.
He's in a total void, blackness. He can't see. He has to rely on his other senses. And he uses his snake arm, the symbiotic entity transformation, to sort of feel his way through this sea of minds. He's searching for a familiar pulse in the dark.
And he finds two presences.
This is it. This is the heart of the entire session. The moment everything hinges on. He reaches into that void, and his snake arm touches 2 distinct souls.
One is Russell. It's faint, it's panicked, it's wheezing, a tiny little spark of life.
And the other is the ancestor.
Let's unpack that, because the text describes it as an ancient stone turtle. What does that represent for a turtle like PG?
For a turtle, ancestors are everything. Their lifespans are short, maybe 50 or 60 years. So their connection to their lineage, their history, their ancestors, that's their immortality. This presence he found is the embodiment of that. It's wisdom, it's history, it's the source of his druidic power and tradition. It's the weight of all his people who came before him.
And he realizes in that moment, he can't save both.
The ritual, or maybe just the limits of his own spirit, will only let him grab one. The bridge the marble created only has room for one to cross back.
So it's a choice, a truly impossible choice. On one side, you have this font of ancient power and wisdom, his entire heritage, and on the other,
the simple tavern cat, a pet with asthma.
From a purely logical, tactical standpoint, the ancestor is the better choice, right? It could grant him power, knowledge. It's an asset.
It's the ultimate asset.
Yeah.
The cat offers, it offers companionship, purrs, that's it. There is no strategic advantage to saving the cat.
But PG doesn't even hesitate.
Not for a second. And that is the moment he becomes a true hero. He chooses the friend he has now over the history of his past. He chooses the life that is depending on him in this moment. He chooses responsibility over power.
He lets the ancestor go.
He does. The notes say the stone turtle's presence just fades into oblivion. This isn't just hanging up the phone. This is severing the line forever. He sacrificed a piece of his own soul, his own history, to fix the mistake he made.
That is just. It's profound. We talk about sacrifice in these games, and it's usually about using a spell slot or a potion. This is a narrative sacrifice. This changes the character forever.
It's the culmination of his entire redemption arc for this mistake. He did the wrong thing for the right reasons, and he was willing to burn his own past to the ground to make it right.
That's true integrity. So he wraps his snake arm around that tiny, terrified spark of life, Russell's essence, and he pulls.
And back in the physical world, the timing is just impossibly close. As PG's arm is retracting from the rift, Turin, raging, brings his axe down and kills the very last Whisper Weaver.
It's over. The rift seals, the spiders are gone, and there, sitting in that little reed basket he made,
There's one very scared, very confused, and very much alive orange cat.
They did it. After all of that, they actually did it.
They did, but the cost was immense. The ancestor is gone, the hag is still owed a favor, and the entire party is beaten, battered, and poisoned.
The immediate aftermath, though, is so touching. You get a moment of real healing. PG immediately casts Speak with Animals.
Which is such a smart move. Because of course Russell is terrified. He's just been pulled out of a nightmare dimension by a giant snake arm. He's scared of PG's arm.
So PG calms him down, tells him it's okay, but then he does something really important. He lets Turin talk to Russell.
And that heals the other rift. The one between the barbarian and the cat. Turin wanted him to come along so badly, but he was maybe a little too rough, a little too eager. This was his chance to be gentle, to properly welcome him. It solidified Russell's place in the party. It wasn't just PG's cat anymore, it was the party's cat.
It's a wonderful, quiet moment of peace. They're tending to the paralyzed party members. They're catching their breath. For a second, you think the danger is over.
But this is the scales of Phandelver.
Yeah.
The danger is never, ever over.
The cliffhanger. Oh, this cliffhanger was brutal. So they're resting at Wyvern Tor. It's night now. The moon is full. The person on watch looks up.
And the moonlight vanishes. It's blocked. but it's not a cloud.
It's a silhouette, a colossal winged silhouette that blots out the entire moon.
And you immediately connect it back. The ogre's warning on the bridge, Agatha's prophecy, the beast of winter.
It's Cryovane, the white dragon.
And it is not just passing by. The way it's described, blocking the moon, implies it's close, it's circling, it's hunting. The threat is no longer a rumor or a prophecy. It is right there above them.
And that's where the session ends. I mean, talk about emotional whiplash. You go from the absolute heartwarming joy of saving the cat to the pants-wetting terror of a dragon overhead.
It's perfect pacing. Because think about their condition. Their spell slots are spent, their abilities are on cooldown, 3 of their members are just recovering from paralysis, which always leaves you feeling weak. They are at their absolute lowest point.
And now the apex predator of the entire region is descending on them. It makes you wonder, did the ritual attract it?
That's a very, very strong possibility. Powerful magic like that, especially magic that tears a hole between planes, it puts off a signature. It's like lighting a massive bonfire in a dark forest.
And dragons are inherently magical creatures. They would feel that.
They would absolutely feel that. So in saving Russell, they may have just rung the dinner bell for Cryovane.
Oh, that is a gut punch of a thought. Congratulations on saving the cat. Now you're the dragon's dinner.
That's D&D for you. No good deed ever goes entirely unpunished.
So wrapping up session 20, what's the big takeaway for you? What's the core theme?
For me, it's the party's maturity. We saw them choose generosity over violence with the ogre. We saw them execute a complex defense where the goal wasn't killing, but pure protection. And most importantly, we saw PG make a profound, soul-deep sacrifice for a small, helpless friend. They're not just adventurers or mercenaries anymore. They are becoming heroes.
I couldn't have said it better myself. They're flawed, they're battered, but they are absolutely heroes. It's the shift from wanting to clear a dungeon to wanting to protect the world, even if it starts with one asthmatic cat.
Especially if it starts there.
Well, everyone, we will have to wait until our next deep dive to find out if our heroes become a dragon's midnight snack. For now, maybe go give your own pets a hug. Check them for any latent magical properties.
And please do not make deals with hags.
They did it. Russell is safe. But that shadow against the moon.
Cryovane. The beast of winter is no longer a prophecy, Volo. It is here.
Thank you for listening. Until next Thursday, may the scales always tip in your favor.